Hi, how are ya? It's Traviseen here, and welcome back to our adventures in the Season of Discovery. Last episode, we finally defeated the Defias Brotherhood, and we continued the Legend of Stalvan. And today we are here with Marshal Haggard, and we have a quest to turn in.
What can I do
that continues the Legend of Stalvan. What have you got there? I cannot see. My eyesight is very bad. Put it in my hands.
I can barely make out those letters, but that writing style reminds me of something I once saw before my vision became so poor. There was a bundle of parchments in the chest upstairs when I moved into this place. I looked at them once when I first arrived, but I gave up once the fog hazed over my peepers. Do an old, nearly blind man a favor and check the chest upstairs for anything that might help you in your quest to discover more about this Stalvan character. I'm pretty sure there's a faded journal page that might be of interest to you. Bring it to me, and I'll help in any way I can.
Well, there we go. We got the faded journal page. And we now have the Curse of Stalvan once again. I wonder if you can read this page. Most strange and uncontrollable feeling. Never have I felt this way I did today. Whilst assisting Giles with his history lesson, Taloa was outside tending to the flower garden. After a few minutes, she came inside and placed a scarlet begonia in my open palm and smiled at me in such a way that my heart felt as though it was trembling within my chest.
Need help?
Did you find that page I mentioned, Father Trav?
You found it! I know of someone who might be able to assist you. Back when I was leading the Stormwind Guard, we used to get drinks at the Scarlet Raven Tavern in Darkshire. The innkeeper there, Smits, was quite an expert on the local lore. Show him this page and see what he has to say about it.
All right, let's go see Smits. We'll see what he has to say. Seems like he's falling in love with that little girl that he's teaching. Let's get buffed up here. There we go. We'll make our way into Duskwood. Should do a few quests in Duskwood today. I think we are getting somewhat closer to being done with this zone. We are getting close to the end of the Legend of Stalvan. There's quite a bit of traveling for this quest chain. And I learned something recently about the ability Prayer of Mending. Supposedly if we heal the person with Prayer of Mending on them, it'll bounce to the next person. Because I always had trouble making it bounce. Sometimes it would just sit on the wrong person or myself. And supposedly if we do a quick rank 1 heal, or I guess any heal for that matter, it will jump to the next target. So we'll check that out the next time we get into a dungeon, which should be soon. I was looking for Black Fathom Deeps raid, but I didn't see many people trying to create a group for one. Usually I just looking for group for like a little bit. It's mostly people looking for SM dungeons and also Nomergon. Waiting to sell Ironforge Summoned, 1 gold. Get buff, Spark of Inspiration. I guess that must be dropping quite a bit now. I assume a lot of people are farming Nomergon. I don't know how people get it, but I guess it drops quite a bit. Maybe we'll try to get that buff next.
What can I do for you? Be careful.
Marshal Haggard sent you. Why didn't you say so? Good old Haggard. Poor chap is going to be completely blind before long. Anyway, let me see what you've got here.
By the light! You bet I recognize that handwriting.
I followed the legend of that Stalvin character for years. When those visiting nobles were slaughtered a few years back, I went with Haggard to investigate. I found these muddy pages, but we were never able to link the handwriting to that crazy man in the woods. Your trail of evidence proves his guilt. Take this to Commander Ebenlock immediately and fill her in on what you've discovered.
Oh, these are the muddy pages. Most certain that she shares the same feelings for me now. She even placed her hand on mine this morning. When she smiles, her eyes light up like glittering diamonds. Unspoken words pass between us. I can feel her in my pounding heart and heated veins. Anger and fury, the likes of which I never knew existed. How dare she? As I was instructing Giles in the meaning of numbers, Taloa appears before me with a suitor, holding hands in public nonetheless. What an uncouth young man. Rather than introduce me properly, Taloa simply said, "Oh, that's just my tutor, Uncle Stalvan. He's a nice old man." Old? At that word, my cheeks flushed with heat. I am but a few years older, and yet she betrays. Wonder how old Stalvan actually is.
Hello. Have a
I don't
good
think
one.
they tell you. This better be good, priest. Let me see what you have and tell me your tale. But by the light, be quick about it. Darkshire's defense is my #1 priority. I have not the time to squander on dead-end leads.
My, you have proved yourself to be quite a detective adventurer. I have had my eye on that creep Stalvin for quite some time.
Oh, he is a
But if
creep.
this page was written by the same hand, it proves his guilt beyond a shadow of a doubt. In all his days keeping the town registry, Clerk
the
Daltrey
changes
has
after this.
become an expert at identifying handwriting. Show him this page and see if the writing matches that of the registry signature.
Downward spiral of despair. First she mocks me, and now she is engaged. The ungracious charlatan was pretending to love, when truly she desired to hurt me all along. A black void lurks within me now, and it grows with each waking moment. The blood I shall spill pales in comparison to the tears I have shed.
How are you?
Making himself sound like a victim.
Why, yes, the writing on this page does in fact match that of the registry signatures. Let Commander Ebenlock know immediately that the handwriting matched Adventurer. Her suspicions were correct.
What can I do for you? I knew it. Fine work, adventurer. Stalvin Mistmantle led a life of depravity. Innocent victims died by his hand. Undoubtedly, he is guilty of countless crimes. Now the lunatic threatens Darkshire. The Light only knows what sordid acts he is plotting. Travel to his cottage just north of town, adventurer, and execute Stalvin, once and for all. When the deed is done, travel to Madame Eva's and show her his family ring. After all, it was her premonition that led to this gruesome discovery. But Darkshire is safer because of her.
All right, here we go. Time to finish off Stalvan. And that was it. That's the entire thing? That was a Schwen's farm. I read that already. I guess that's it. That's the story. He just gets upset. Oh, they're slaying Stalvan. Invite me. Can I kill him? The target's dead. What happened? So he invited me to party. The guy's not dying. Oh, they got the loot. They got the loot. Okay, well, they got the loot, but I didn't. Oh, whatever. We'll buff them all up and let them be on their way. I think we're going to have to wait. But that is so weird. He's like standing here. All glitched out. I guess on their screen he's most likely dead. I'd consider that to be a bug. Well, I guess we'll have to wait. There isn't any other quests that we can do around here unless we can get a gooey spider leg. I can help him if you want. Right. While I wait here. I wonder if Stalvan will spawn again. Imagine he just doesn't spawn. I guess, yeah, one guy needs cool fangs. Oh, there we go. He disappeared, so that's good. Should be up soon. This will buff up these guys' pets. So much damage Shadow or Death does. You must be like, what the heck is that ability? When you combo that with Mind Blast, it's quite a bit. It's a big hit. See if Stalvan's back. Nope. At least we're getting a little bit of XP while we wait for Stalvan to spawn. Maybe I'll have a drink while we wait. I wonder if Stalvan says anything when you attack him. And I wonder how he turned into, you know, a Forsaken. We also have, you know, the 10% extra damage. And the Boon of Black Fathom. We are doing more damage than most. Well, than we usually would. And Soulbore needs to loot these. Yeah, I've been looting them. Maybe he lost a few cool things because of that. I just looted it. Looks like they're AFK. I shouldn't have looted it there. Like, yeah, no problem. I just keep looting. It's a habit, I guess. I'll let him loot that one, though. I won't mess that up. Come on, Stalvan. You gotta spawn. Friendly and chill. Wonder if he's leveling 2 characters at once. 2 hunters? It's kind of how it seems, is this guy just follows this guy. Is he waiting for me to like attack something? Who knows, maybe that's what he's doing. Imagine this guy's a bot. No, he's not a bot. He wouldn't have spoken to me if he was. But I have a feeling that these aren't 2 different people. I think this could be just one guy controlling 2 characters. Multi-boxing. Interesting way to level. You have to have 2 accounts, though. But I guess if you really want 2 hunters, it's a great way to level. There he is, Stalvan. Get him! Let's try to attack him, guys. And put the debuff on me again. Ah. Thank you. Jeez. There we go. Hopefully we helped them out. We also have the Curse of Stalvan once again. Now it's time for us to bring the Mismantle family ring back. This guy can help me here. Watcher Bacchus. No. Just walks right by us. There we go. What's a level 35 quest? I think we get less XP when it's red. I don't care, though. We'll just turn it in. Yes, Father Trav?
I know, adventurer. Stalvan is dead.
Cool
I
ring.
sensed a wave of hope ripple through the tainted
Not
forest.
better than any of our other
Once
rings.
and for all, Duskwood is free from his bloodthirst. My joy is
It
hampered
sells
by
for more.
thoughts of those who fell prey to the horrible beast. Nonetheless, you are a brave and cunning adventurer. Light bless you.
There we go. We slayed the creep. Now it is time for us to slay some... Either we slay skeletal fiends? I think we'll go with the werewolves. What do we need the skeletal fiends for? The Night Watch? We need to gather rot blossoms. Maybe we'll do that, actually. Because that quest is level 24. We're actually going to level in a few levels, so I might as well get that finished now. And I think we will make this in our hearth spot. This guy also has the debuff, the Curse of Stalvan. Is he a priest as well?
Welcome to my inn, weary traveler. What can I do for you?
Looks like a warlock or a priest. Yeah, he's a priest. Human priest. gave him Fear Ward. Just so he feels safe. As a human priest. It's tough playing human priest. I don't know what they get. I think they get like a spirit buff or something like that. Not too sure. Or a heal. I think we might look into some weak auras soon. A viewer commented and told me about a weak aura that helps me track prayer mending. I assume there's a lot of good weak auras for priests. When I play, I usually like to have a weak aura that shows all my important cooldowns pretty much right under my character. It's just, you know, easier than, you know, having to look down at the cooldowns of your keybinds down here. Looking for dark runners over there. Mostly Worgen here. Yeah, it's a pretty creepy quest chain. The next ones that we are doing, we actually have to go see Jitters. We'll go find him next. While we're collecting rot blossoms and slaying skeletal fiends. There's actually some, like, elite dragons in here, in the middle. I think you need to slay them for a legendary quest chain. Forget which one, though. I assume a lot of people wonder, like, what the heck is even inside here? It's kind of an annoying thing in the middle of Duskwood. You always have to run around to get to the cemetery. I think there's a difference between a cemetery and a graveyard. Supposedly one has a church connected to it. I guess that would be a cemetery, right? And a graveyard's just, you know, it's a place, like, you know, a place where they lay the dead without a church connected to it. Could be wrong about that, but that's supposedly the difference between the two. And this is a cemetery, Ravenhill Cemetery. Well, I don't think there's a church connected to this, unless it's this, like, broken down chapel. Alright, so we're looking for rot blossoms. Need one more gooey spider leg as well. Oh, we got stunned. I think the dots will finish him off, though. It'd be great if we had herbalism right now, though. Because we would be able to easily find the rot blossoms. I think they're, from what I remember, they're located around these crypts. Oh, there's a fiend. Oh, they drop off of these guys? Fiends actually drop them. I think the healers do too. Oh, there's some grave robbers over there. That must be messed up, grave robbing. I wonder if anybody actually leaves valuable stuff in graves and like in coffins anymore. Alright, sit down here and we'll have a chow jitters.
Need something?
Who are you? Leave me be.
Yes, I'm the author of that book. You finally found me, eh? Well, if you read that journal, then you only know the half of it. The book you found was only half finished. I had to leave it at Sven's farm when I fled there. Here, take my completed journal to Sven. It describes more fully what happened at his farm. Although this journal has been my only company these past weeks, if giving it up keeps me from having to face Sven and his wrath, then I do it willingly.
Well, let's see the completed version. So did we read all of this? Wow, that is so long. Should we read the entire thing while we do the quest? I guess so. Why not? Get a little update on what's going on here. My journal, the terror of these past few weeks, is almost more than I can bear. Why is it that by writing words into this book, I can somehow keep the madness at bay? Perhaps it is as if I'm confessing my sins to a silent companion, or freeing my mind of these tortured thoughts, confining them to paper. I began a journal before this one, but it remains in a place to which I cannot return. So I will start afresh, but this time I will start from the true beginning. Alright, so it's good that we started again. It began with the finding of that cursed scythe in the mine they call Roland's Tomb. Yes, that was the start of it. Before that, the Defias Brotherhood was happy with our progress in Duskwood. Before the scythe, the terrors of this place seemed as tame as Northshire Valley. But ever since I found the half of the scythe jutting from that pile of rubble in the mine and cursed me, pulled it free, Roland's Doom became a place of vile death. If I had known what would happen, I would have cut off my own hand to keep from grasping that rune-carved wood. So many regrets. I always thought that it was a privilege of the old. I now know that it is not of the old, it is the hopeless who don the mantle of regret, unable and unwilling to shrug it from shoulders stooped with misery. But enough waxing like a pipe-mad poet. I must continue with the chronicle. Okay, let's follow this guy and we'll help him deal with these fiends. After the scythe was freed, a change rippled through the mine. Light from our flickering torches wrapped the strength of our voices seemed beyond our control. Sometimes a man whispered, roared through the tunnels, forcing hands on ears, and sometimes our shouts barely traveled a few steps before diminishing into a hint on the wind. Unnerving, yes, but we did not have a long to wonder at this strangeness. It was but a harbinger of what truly drove us from the mine, the Worgen. It came at us from everywhere, clawing from hidden holes at our feet and dropping upon us from silent perches above. Half our men fell in those first panicked minutes. The rest, including myself, tried to flee. As I ran, I saw so many of my brothers taken by tooth and claw, heard so many screams cut short or gurgle in silence. For all I know, I'm the only human to escape that place. I can only guess why I survived that night. I have always been cautious, always quick to flinch from jabs and leap free from pitfalls. My nickname Jitters comes from this trait. So perhaps it was just that knack for caution that saved me. Or maybe it was the scythe I pulled from the rubble. It cannot be the scythe itself, for I lost it. Damn it. They gave me some water. It's very nice of him, though. You ruined this. Oh, I don't know. What page are you on? 5? Or maybe it was the scythe I pulled from the rubble. It cannot be the scythe itself, for I lost it during my frantic flight. But if it was I who brought the Worgen to Duskwood, then perhaps the Worgen afforded me a rare courtesy. Curse them. Well, he didn't bring the Worgen to Duskwood. It was actually a night elf. Or perhaps I am doomed to witness the change I wrought on Duskwood. Perhaps it is my fate to watch as the Worgen tear into this land, staining it ever darker with their foulness. If that truly is my fate, then it is twofold, for the Worgen are not the only power to clutch at Duskwood. The fiends from Deadwind Pass have also staked claim. That is the next chapter, my tale, and I pray it is the last. After surviving the flight from Roland's Doom, I hid within a barn, and such horror lingered with me that I never once made myself known to Sven or his family. But from what I saw from my hiding place, I knew these farmers were quite decent folk. Had I stepped from my concealment, I think they would have taken me in. But trust is hard for me, harder still after that shock in the mine. Are we fighting this guy? The Dark Rider. Who the heck is this guy? Oh, it's a Dark Rider. That's kind of cool. Put a dot on me, though. Curse egg, and he's hitting me pretty hard. Stay away from the Dark Rider. I think we're about to read about these guys. Had I stepped from my concealment, I think they would have taken me in. But trust is hard for me. Harder still after that shock in the mine. So I remained hidden. And and it saved my life. A few days later, I arrived at the barn. Sven left his farm for Darkshire. He kissed his wife and smiled to his children and promised to return soon with toys and sweets. The poor man, that was the last time he saw his family unmutilated. At least they parted happily, and at least his wife was the first to die and was freed from seeing the slaughter of her children. But these small graces do nothing for me. I saw what happened, and it will ever haunt my dreams. My hand trembles as I recall the details of that night, when Sven was away and his family was doomed to face the Black Riders alone. Okay, so that guy that we just fought over there was called a Dark Rider. I guess they're the same, Black Riders. Again, regret claws at me, for I was there and could have risen against those fiends from Deadwind Pass, but it is a false regret. It is the same that plagues any survivor of a tragedy. I know that had I left my place of hiding, I too would have been killed, my body ripped and torn, and its pieces spread so widely that I would not be recognized. But even though I know I could have done nothing to stop this heinous murder, one true regret does remain. I brought the Black Riders to Sven's farm. My discovery of the scythe not only unleashed the Worgen upon Duskwood, it drew the riders from Deadwind Pass. I know this because just before they began their slaughter, they asked one question to Sven's wife, as she held her children close, giving them what comfort she could, though she was certain death was near. "The scythe of a loon," one of the riders shrieked, in a voice both harsh and shrill, like the grinding of an axe on stone, and the last words, "a loon." They croaked, as if choking on the sound. Dread gripped me when I heard that voice, both of them, the horrid sounds of it, and because I knew it, the scythe which the riders spoke, it must be the same cursed thing I drew from the rocks of Roland's Doom days before. It was what the Black Riders sought, and it was what would kill Sven's family. Okay, well, looks like we're done with this quest. I never learned the name of Sven's wife. She was only ever called Dearest and my love and Mommy, but by her husband and children. But I wish I knew it. I am the only living memory of her deed that day, and although she was just a farmer's wife, never have I seen a man or woman act with such bravery. Of course, she did not know of the scythe, but when she learned that the riders sought it, in an instant a plan formed in her head. And it was bold and clever, if only it had worked. "The scythe," she said, in a calm voice. "Of course I do. Who here wouldn't? She looked at the riders with steady eyes, and I would have sworn she spoke the truth if I had not known better. There was no way she could know about the scythe. If her gambit paid off, the same rider who uttered the question before bent his head slightly toward her and shrieked, 'Where?' 'I'll tell you, all of you,' she said, and I could see a small hope flicker behind her eye. 'But the way is far, and my children would slow us. We must leave them.' Her trick was simple, but simple tricks have the best hope of success. If it worked, it would lead the riders away from the farm. She would be lost, but her children would be safe. And it would work if only the riders believed her noble lies. Although I have never been a student of the light, I prayed fiercely for Sven's wife as she stood against those terrible riders. 'Please,' I prayed, 'let them believe.' They stood frozen, and she met their gazes with calm. Then one rider looked up. Oh, leveled up, nice. As if hearing a distant call, he drew from his garb a small gem and peered into it. He then gestured with the bauble toward Sven's wife. A light crept from the rider toward the woman, shaping itself into a grim white hand. He stared into the light, unflinching, but I could see uncertainty behind her mask of confidence. When the hand reached her, it spread its fingers over her head, and it squeezed. Sven's wife stood rigid as a board, and her eyes grew wide. And although her lips pulled back to mouth a scream, no sound escaped. After a few moments of this torture, the hand released her, dropping her to her knees. The rider who held the bauble then sat erect, his saddle, and a loud voice erupted from it. "This woman lies," it said in a voice that has scarred my dreams. "She has not seen the scythe." After this, the rider's shoulders stooped slightly as if a spirit within him had fled. And then, in the old shrieking voice it used earlier, these final words were uttered. "The Lord has spoken. Kill them." I cannot describe what happened next. It is clear in my mind, but even my wretched soul cannot put the events of those next few grisly minutes. I can only write that Sven's family was killed, and soon after Sven returned to this grim, deathly scene, such grief was in him that I was afraid to show myself. And so afraid was I that he would find me, I fled from my hiding spot in the barn. I do not know where Sven is now, but I pray he will someday find peace. I spent the next few weeks moving from place to place, never lingering for fear of the riders. I am now in the abandoned town of Ravenhill. As always, hiding, I cannot face whatever power they used against Sven's wife, and I know it searches Duskwood. Even still, for the scythe, it is lost to me, and I thank the light for this. For had I kept it, I know I would have been found. Even now, I know in my heart that I will be found. I am so tired. Oh, it looks like Jitters is traumatized from what he's seen. And the Dark Riders are supposedly, I believe, controlled by Medivh. So it was Medivh that ordered the killing of Sven's family. Because I think Medivh supposedly uses the Dark Riders to collect these like ancient artifacts.
Well met.
Did you find who the shadowy figure was?
This journal explains much to me and sets me on the path against the Dark Riders. I have seen these riders in Duskwood and have seen them speak with the wizard Morbent Fell at the Forlorn Road. Morbent Fell is a necromancer and an ally to the Dark Riders. I would pit you against the power of Morbent Fell, but I will not send you against that vile fiend without first knowing your strength. You have already proven your bravery to me, but if you truly wish to face the necromancer, then you must now prove your skill against his minions.
All right. So it looks like Sven thinks it's Morbent Fell, but it's not.
Greetings.
Hi, Father Trav. Do you have those rot blossoms for me yet?
Good, you got the rot blossoms. And I'll tell Althea Ebonlock of the Night Watch that you were killing skeletons. Keeping the people of Darkshire safe is a grim burden for the Night Watch, and news that others are helping stem the tide of fiends in Duskwood is welcome news indeed. Here's your zombie juice. And be careful with this stuff. It's strong enough to raise the dead.
Nice,
The
we'll get a
people
10
of
slot
Darkshire
back.
thank you, adventurer. You have proven yourself to be a great ally of the Night Watch. The situation in Ravenhill is still grim. The safety of Darkshire is in your hands, adventurer. I don't have enough watchers to keep the town safe. We need you to dispatch for Ravenhill yet again and rid the Eastern Mausoleum of 20 plague spreaders.
All right, guys. Well, it looks like we will be heading back to the Ravenhill Cemetery once again. That was a brutal story. Well, a couple of brutal stories about Stalvan and Sven's family. And it's cool that they had that back in Classic. They don't have stuff like that anymore in World of Warcraft. It seems to be something lost in the game. But I'm happy that they kept it in Classic, and that's one thing I like about Classics. They have like cool quest chains like that have a deep story. It's more than just, you know, hey, how's it going? That guy messed with me, get rid of him, come back, I'll give you a reward. Has sort of like a Elder Scrolls vibe to it. But yeah, guys, that is going to be the end of today's episode. Next episode, we will head back to the cemetery once again and do some more quests in Duskwood. But as always, thanks for watching. Keep your heads up. Later.